At the beginning, a girl happily asked Yuri if they were watching a movie together when they got home. Yuri apologized, saying it was the biggest moment of his entire life. The girl, disappointed, pointed out that he had been really distant lately. Yuri left the classroom, telling her that it would only be for today and that he would see her later. The girl sighed and muttered that it was fine. She then noticed another girl passing by. That girl apologized for keeping Yuri waiting and asked why he was acting like that since it was rare. Yuri admitted that there was something he wanted to talk about. Blushing, he struggled to get the words out. From the side, Ruka watched the scene, crying and calling Yuri an idiot before running away. The scene shifted to Yuri, who looked around and thought about how bright everything was. Wearing his school uniform and carrying his bag, he reflected that since his parents had been on a business trip overseas, he had taken full advantage of it. His entire spring break had been spent in complete indulgence, playing and doing whatever he wanted. His little sister Ruka called out to him, urging him to hurry so they would not be late. She excitedly asked if he was not thrilled about the new class. Yuri responded that he had no friends, so for him, it would be the same as always. Ruka found that sad. With tears in her eyes, she admitted that even though Yuri said it with confidence as his little sister, it still hurt her to see him like that. Yuri apologized for being the kind of brother who made his sister cry and asked her to introduce one of her friends to her pitiful big brother. Ruka, with a disappointed expression, told him that things like that were a bit difficult. Yuri then told her that as long as she was around that was enough for him. Ruka angrily threw punches at him, telling him not to say such embarrassing things first thing in the morning. Yuri remarked that she was seriously full of energy even in the morning and told her to just go to her middle school already. Ruka snapped back, saying that Yuri always had something to say in return. Then she suddenly waved and greeted Hoka with a cheerful good morning. Hoka commented that Ruka was full of energy as always and that it felt like it had been a while. Hoka also noted that it was rare for them to go to school together. Yuri responded awkwardly, and Hoka, with a scary expression, teased that his facial muscles and vocal cords had atrophied, so there was no way he could make a sound. Yuri mockingly agreed and said everyone should be more considerate of his throat. Hoka scolded him, telling him that if he could talk then, he should have spent spring break working on himself. Yuri replied that, as expected, Hoka-sama had a sharp tongue. This angered Hoka, who told him to stop calling her that because she hated it. Yuri apologized, which made Ruka panic. Yuri thought about how, since their houses were close, he and Hoka had been childhood friends, but at some point she started avoiding him. By the time he realized it, time had passed and Hoka had made her high school debut. He felt that she had really changed, almost as if she had become a completely different person. Hoka pointed out that this was why people called him gloomy. She added that if he kept being like that, no one would bother with him, but then awkwardly admitted that being alone was not so bad either. Yuri winced internally, thinking that her words had been too direct. Hoka sighed, saying that she was the only one who told him the truth and that he should be thankful. She then muttered tensely that things like this always happened first thing in the morning before turning to others and telling them to come later. Yuri replied that he understood, addressing her as my lady. Ruka asked Yuri what he had done to Hoka, but Yuri simply put in his earphones and said he did not know either. Hoka watched as they left. Yuri, feeling tense, questioned why they had ended up in the same class again, thinking it was too awkward. He noticed Hoka laughing with her group of friends. One girl asked Hoka what she had been up to during spring break. Hoka answered that aside from the days she had spent hanging out with her, she had just stayed home watching movies and lazing around. The girl commented that even so, Hoka seemed to be keeping her figure well. She then grabbed Hoka from behind, saying she was too fit. Hoka laughed, saying it tickled, and told Isusa to cut it out. A boy commented that Hoka's figure was amazing. Isusa immediately called it sexual harassment. Hoka noticed Yuri looking at them, and Yuri noticed her staring back. He thought that it was not as if he was interested. He had just been looking absent-mindedly. Hoka smirked proudly. Yuri lowered his head, thinking about Hoka. Isusa tried to continue talking to Hoka, but Hoka apologized for spacing out. Isusa then revealed that she had seen Hoka getting a love letter. A boy reacted with shock, asking who had given it to her. Hoka blushed. Yuri also thought in disbelief about who had given it to her. Hoka told her friends she would reveal it after the opening ceremony. Isusa agreed and told everyone to hurry along. As they left, Hoka turned at the classroom door, telling Yuri to hurry up and move. Yuri, sitting at his desk, commented that Hoka was popular. Hoka admitted she was, and that she got confessed to almost every week. Yuri asked why, and if she was confessed so often, why she was not dating anyone. He teased her about being picky or maybe already having a college boyfriend. Hoka angrily retorted, calling him an idiot, and asked why he was acting curious when he always pretended not to be interested. Yori denied it. Hoka smiled, saying that unlike him, someone else was handsome and hard to turn down. Yori asked if the person was really that good-looking. Hoka revealed it was Kudo from Class 6. Yori, confused, thought that he had never heard of him. Hoka, blushing, admitted that Kudo had told her to wait in the classroom after school. Yori thought back to the unforgettable summer of his first year in middle school when he had started to like Shimazaki Hayari, the girl who sat next to him. He remembered trying to act cool while she often teased him and touched him. Getting carried away, he had convinced himself she liked him. When he had shouted his belief, Hoka had called him stupid and disagreed. Hayari insisted that Hayari was popular but still talked to him, which meant something. Hoka suggested that maybe Hayari was just being friendly. She then bitterly asked if plain people were not good enough, wondering why he denied it so strongly. She insisted he was better off staying away from girls like that. Despite her words, Yori had confessed to Hayari without telling Hoka, only to be rejected. Back in the present, Yori asked Hoka if she liked Kudo. Hoka replied that she did not feel anything for him. Yori questioned why Kudo had confessed to her, saying people usually only did that when they were sure the other person liked them too. Hoka, frustrated, demanded to know what he was saying. When Yori suggested she was going to start dating Kudo, she denied it, calling him an idiot. As Hoka was about to leave, Yori pressed her, saying it seemed like she was about to date Kudo. He admitted that he did not understand anything. As they passed, Yori told her to think about it, because someone close to her might actually like her. Hoka, blushing, stopped him, and demanded to know what he meant. Yori explained that he was always right there near her. Hoka wondered if she had simply not noticed until now before brushing it off. Yori reminded her of her earlier words about being confessed to so often because she was surrounded by handsome guys. Hoka's face darkened and she shouted at Yori, accusing him of confusing her. She told him not to act like a critic when he had no experience and had been rejected himself. Yori told her to worry about herself first. Hoka shouted back that she did not care anymore and angrily told him to keep living his gloomy little life, glaring jealously at her happy one from the bottom. Yori, shocked, wondered if he had stepped on another landmine. He recalled how back then whenever something like this happened, Hoka would apologize and they would make up by watching a movie together. He thought maybe he should go watch a movie by himself and wondered what was showing. Checking his phone, he noted there was still time and decided to kill some time before returning. As he walked, he noticed a girl standing on a railing. She stretched inside. Alarmed, Yori threw his bag aside and ran toward her, shouting for her not to do anything rash because life was still fun. The girl turned, and they both fell. She groaned in pain and pointed out that Yori was touching her chest. Embarrassed, Yori quickly stood up and apologized. The girl explained she only wanted to see the view since it had been a while since she had come back to town. Yori apologized for pulling her along, but she waved it off, saying it wasn't a big deal, though she did mention the part where he had grabbed her chest. Panic surged through him, and he begged for forgiveness, insisting it had been an accident. She laughed, teasing that he probably did it on purpose. Yori pleaded for mercy, explaining he had a little sister too. Eventually, she let it go but curiously asked if his uniform was from Koro High School. Yori's mind raced. If this got out at school, his social life would be over. He quickly expressed relief that she hadn't jumped or run away and apologized once again for what happened. Smiling, she muttered that he never listened, but admitted he hadn't really changed. She noted that even his clumsy nature and instinct to help others remained intact. Blushing, she whispered that she was home, softly calling Yori's name. Later, Yori sat with his head bowed, unable to sleep for fear of social ruin. Hoka noticed him and asked why he looked so worn out, suspecting he had pulled another all-nighter. Yori asked if she could understand his suffering. Hoka responded sarcastically, questioning where he was fragile. Isusa joined in, commenting that she wouldn't have guessed he stayed up all night. Hoka blushed and quickly denied worrying about him. Isusa teased her, pointing out how she was always watching Yori. Flustered, Hoka insisted she had only known him for a long time and told Isusa to stop spreading rumors. She then muttered that she was the only one who spoke frankly to Aori, and that he should appreciate that. Isusa noted how strange their relationship seemed, unsure if they really got along. Hoka brushed it off, calling him gloomy and twisted. Yori was stunned by her blunt words. Hoka waved it aside, reminding them that class was about to start. Isusa asked if it had done the classical literature homework. Hoka panicked, admitting she hadn't. Isusa hugged her, begging to see it while calling her Hyuka's Sama. Yori, internally disturbed by Isusa's friendliness, thought about how exhausted he was from handling Hoka and lack of sleep, realizing he had to stay awake. Rumors began spreading about a transfer student, with people gossiping that she was cute. Yori struggled to stay awake through the first and second periods, but by the fourth, he had succumbed to sleep. When he awoke, nobody had bothered to wake him. Isusa commented that everyone was buzzing about the transfer student. Hoka, uninterested, said the girl was from the next class, so chances of interaction were slim. Hayuri observed that the way Hoka handled people in situations like this resonated with him. Isusa praised Hoka's coolness and teased her about crushes. Hoka denied caring, insisting there was no reason to worry about such things. Isa cast her a sidelong glance, then glanced at Yori. Suddenly, the classroom door flew open. A girl rushed in, spotted Yori, and ran straight to him, hugging him tightly while calling his name. Yori blushed stunned and realized it was the same girl from the roof. Hoka, glaring with anger, demanded to know what was going on, while the other students stared in shock.